in my presentation today, we're going to really start talking about where Louisiana stands right now and talking a little bit about some of our projects that we have going on at Louisiana Clean Fuels. So we are going to start off a little bit with what's going on in our coalition. We're going to go through our annual activity report. Our 2024 data got recently approved by the Department of Energy. They are still functioning at some level, so we got our report approved the other day. And then we're going to talk a little about NEVI. So Louisiana Clean Fuels, again, is going to be working with the Department of Transportation on the NEVI program. Pretty much the same role that we have been, just a little bit heavier lift this time. We will be helping with the preparation of the applications and the RFP, as we will not be judging any of the projects, and we will not be able to assist anyone with your projects. So, but we will be able to keep you informed as to all the details. We will facilitate conversations between you and DOTD as needed, and we will make sure that everyone has equal access to the information and understands the RFP and understands the requirements. But again, we cannot help you with your applications, and we will not be judging them. So just a little heads up on that. And then we're going to be talking also about the existing fueling infrastructure that we have in our state. All right, so let's get started. So our annual fleet activity report. This report is by fleets in the state of Louisiana who voluntarily share their data with us every year. So there is a little bit of fluctuation from year to year. Sometimes we have fleets that they don't give us their data again, and we report on the last year. They're like, it's just like last year. But sometimes they really dig in and they'll give us more information than ever before. So there is a little bit of fluctuation there. You'll see between around 2014, there was a big jump in 2014. That's when we went statewide, is between 2013 and 2014. So we were reporting on more fleets all across the state. After that, the bigger jumps, we just got better at reporting. We got better at getting out in the state, and we started meeting more of the fleets, and then you can start seeing some of the growth and the change. There's been a lot of change over the years, and some of it has to do with how the Department of Energy calculated these changes. So if you want to get really into the nitty-gritty about the differences and how DOE will calculate the offsets and such for natural gas when you're thinking about renewable natural gas. Tyler Herman, if you're in the audience, there's a glare, I can't see if you're sitting in here, but look for Tyler Herman. He may be at the booth or somewhere, but look for him, and he will be able to talk to you about the history and how DOE has been changing the way they calculate some of the emissions reductions. I want to start here. This is just the strategies. These are the strategies and the ways that we have been able, and our stakeholders are offsetting their use of diesel and gasoline in the state with either alternative fuels or fuel emission and saving practices. So by actually switching their vehicles out to an alternative fuel vehicle, that is 64% of the reductions that we are seeing in the state. And we do have off-road, we have idle reduction, vehicle miles traveled. All of these are strategies to reduce your fuel consumption. Fuel economy improvements, they could simply be buying a more fuel-efficient vehicle regardless of the engine or the fuel type that they are using. But then here we also separate out electric and plug-in vehicles from alternative fuel vehicles, so you can see the growth that we're showing there, and it is significant in part because we are allowed to report electric vehicle registrations on our data now because we collect the data from the state directly and we put it back out on our website. So if you want up-to-date numbers on electric vehicle adoption, it's a little bit buried, but we can give you a link, and we'll be reorganizing that to make it a little more front and center. But you can see sometimes it's every month, sometimes it's every couple of months. But Elizabeth over here calculates the numbers once we get the raw data and parses it out and publishes these great maps that you saw them the other day at Richie's presentation. So while the last one was the GGEs by project type, this is by fuel type. So natural gas, back in the day, I think we were more like 85% of the fuel consumption in our state. Electric vehicles didn't really exist yet. We had some propane vehicles here and there. Propane hadn't grown much. Natural gas was really king. It is still the most popular fuel and most widely used fuel in Louisiana. But that number, the 27% of electric, that is not only the fleet data that we get, which is some. We have some transit fleets and we have some other municipal fleets that have electric vehicles. But predominantly, that is the electric vehicle adoption by the passenger vehicles and using the registration data. And propane has grown. So we have a lot of propane school buses, and we have a lot of usage in forklifts and other things. All right, and renewable diesel, of course. We love renewable diesel, we just want more of it. I can't tell you how many times I actually get phone calls saying, how can I get more renewable diesel? I need some for a customer and I need it like tomorrow. So Troy and I became really good friends recently, like trying to hunt down some renewable diesel for a customer recently. We're seeing a lot of interest in that. So this is the greenhouse gas emissions reduced for the amount of fuel that you saw like last time. The last slide was how much is being used. This is the impact. And because CNG, we are now including renewable natural gas in that mix, it has improved the greenhouse gas emissions calculations in this map here, in this chart here. And again, if we go back, some of the other fuels, they had a larger slice of the pie. When you go forward and you look at the greenhouse gas emissions, the pie gets smaller, and you can see which ones are actually being more efficient with the greenhouse gas emissions. That is not the only kind of emission that we care about at Louisiana Clean Fuels. We also track the criteria pollutants, NOx. Those are also very important to our DEQ. Just these charts and graphs that DOE produces for us doesn't give us the criteria pollutants, but we do have that data for you if you're interested. Okay, so that was just kind of the quick and dirty overview of all the different alternative fuels that we have in the state and the impact that we have in the growth. And the projects and programs, if you were watching the video, you saw a little bit of information about our DERA project and about the Gumbo project. So we're lucky to have the project manager for both here today. Raise your hand, Elizabeth. So if anybody wants to learn more about Gumbo, our workforce development project for electric vehicle technician training, or anything about DERA, DERA, like the contractors that are working on this, they're doing all the great work, and we're just kind of getting the glory for it, but we're really happy to be able to be the ones who manage this project for them. But choose your go-to if you want to learn about either one of those. Also, so one of the other projects that we're excited about is Charging Smart, and it is a national initiative that helps communities put best practices in place to support electric vehicle growth, things like streamlining permitting, planning for infrastructure, and adding EVs to municipal fleets. And Louisiana Clean Fuels is proud to be working with 5 communities across our state to help them work their way through this program. And today we're especially proud to share that one of them, New Orleans, has reached the highest level of recognition, Charging Smart Gold. So if you have, very excited about that. And this achievement shows their real leadership in making easier and more affordable for residents and businesses and fleets in the New Orleans area to go electric. So what it does is it really gives a signal to investors, maybe like Tesla or Electrify America, that New Orleans is investment ready. They got it all together. They know what's going on. You can come in, and a company like that knows that the road will be smooth when working with the city of New Orleans. And we're working with a couple other communities across the state to help get them to potentially bond status. We're really excited to help them, and especially some of our smaller communities. If you want to learn more about that, or if your community wants to sign up, please go over to Louisiana Clean Fuels booth and talk to them about that. So we would love to help you out. And then the last project I'm going to be really talking about today is a new one, the Clean School Bus. I'm not going to say a whole lot because we do have a panel presentation that will be covering this a little bit later today. But we're working with WRI to assist school districts to adopt electric school buses. And as you know, they're one of the major companies that won a lot of awards for a lot of schools, went out of business. So part of this project is triage, and it's helping these school districts to figure out what to do with these assets and how to move forward. And it's you can learn a lot more about this at the next panel today called Charging Ahead that Richie will be moderating. And again, you can visit the team at the LCF booth or look for a WRI rep, Brittany, she would be able to talk to you about that and help you with that as well. All right, I think that's all about the projects and programs. All right, so we're going to talk about NEVI for a little while. I didn't have any script on NEVI because I could just talk about NEVI. All right, so the state plan has been updated. When the new administration came in, they put a hold on NEVI. They just said, we're just right in the middle, no matter where you were, everything just got put to a halt. Well, it has been opened back up again. Awards are starting to be made again. Money is starting to flow. The state of Louisiana, where we were when that happened, is the RFP that we had put out was about to close. We had 1 week left, I think, before that RFP closed. And so now we're having to start from scratch again because there are new federal guidance. And the new federal guidance basically just loosened it up and made it easier. And where we are now, with the new plan has been approved. It is available on the DOTD website. You can download it and read it. Where we are now is working with the state to update the RFP and update the application because there's stuff that has to be changed and updated to reflect the new standards. And we will be doing some limited stakeholder outreach and making sure that everyone is aware of when the new application will come out. We don't exactly have a date. That's why it's listed there. It's like a date. We don't know. It is kind of up to us when that happens, up to us and to DOTD approving what we've done. We will be getting this out as soon as possible so that we can start awarding as many projects as possible. And if you take a look at this beautiful map, this is not an official NEVI plan map just yet, but this will show you where the gaps are and the overview of what we are looking at, of what we want to have filled, we as a state, the DOTD, with us. So it's that, and again, the state plan resubmissions, this is a little just the history again, and we're really hoping this is going to make the process go a lot smoother. All right. Okay, so public fueling infrastructure in Louisiana. Natural gas, in the beginning, we had maybe 18, 17 public stations across the state when I first started here. And it has been slowly deteriorating down to the point where we have 10, and there are 3 of those 10 that are in danger of being shut down completely or closed to the public. And so one of our initiatives this year is we are working on trying to reinvigorate natural gas in the state of Louisiana. We do have a fantastic renewable natural gas resource in the St. Landry Parish. They produce a lot of renewable natural gas there at the landfill, and we would love to teach more people how to do that. As part of our natural gas reinvigoration plan, we want to find a way to strengthen the stations that we have, upgrade the stations that we have, and find more customers to keep those stations viable. And that is something we'll be working with throughout the year. So if you want to be part of that strategic planning with us, please reach out to me. EV charging stations, it's just every time you look at the map, there's more. And this is without federal funding, and this is without state incentives or federal incentives. Infrastructure is growing regardless of having funding or not, but the strategic placement of the fast chargers in some of the areas, the key areas that we were showing you back here, if you can see on the map, those aren't necessarily going to get filled by the market because they're not going to be as profitable. That is why the federal funding is so important for across the state and transportation. If you want to talk to a couple of people about what it's really like to drive an electric vehicle across the state, go to Travis or Barrett, and because both of them travel, Travis goes to state parks all the time. Barrett came down from Arkansas in his brand new EV that he just bought this week, and he discovered, the route that he had to take, this map right here. He's probably wishing some of those stations would have been in. It would have made his journey a lot quicker, but it's still very doable. So there's a lot of work to be done there, and we're just so proud to still be working with DOTD to make sure that this plan is a plan that works for electric vehicle owners today and tomorrow. Propane, it's stayed kind of steady at 11 public sites. There were a few more in the past.
A lot of the propane fueling that we have in our state is behind the fence private fueling. This is public fueling that anyone can go to. So if you're trying to extend your range in your route, they are on the AFDC. All of this information is on the Alternative Fuel Station Locator, the AFDC. So if you just Google Alternative Fuel Station Locator, you will find the resource that we got all this data from, and the Clean Cities Coalitions like us, we keep this data up to date along with people in industry. And I wanted to put the last ones up here just so you could see where the holes are and how much work we still have to do. There are no renewable diesel stations. There are no biofuels stations. We used to have one. We used to have an LNG station. It is gone, the Shell station in Lafayette. It no longer sells LNG. And of course, we don't have any hydrogen yet. But we still need to be tracking that, because one day we hope that there will be. As Louisiana Clean Fuels, again, we are all the above. We want you to be able to play with every single color crayon in the box. We don't want you to just have to color with one color. And we're looking forward to securing the natural gas stations, growing the propane stations, and adding some of these others that we are missing. And we look forward to working with all of you to try to make that happen.